In this video, we're going to showcase a custom-made garden shade and enclosure, a lemonade stand, a shade cover for a stage, a sailboat beach cart, a batting cage, a disc golf cart, a marching band prop, and a golf simulator. These are all made with off-the-shelf EMT conduit and fittings that we manufacture in upstate South Carolina that our community uses to build all kinds of cool stuff, as we're going to highlight. First up, we've got this really cool garden enclosure from Bryant, and I love this. I think it looks fantastic. It's custom spray painted, and it just looks really awesome, and is meant to be a shade for this garden, and it's also got a fence incorporated into it to keep out the owner's dog. They said that the dog likes to get into the garden and cause some trouble. So they built this, and I think it's just really awesome and just looks really good, like I said. And essentially, this is just a big rectangular cube. We see this kind of shape pretty often, and you can make this utilizing 90-degree connectors in the corners is usually what we see, which is exactly what's up here at the very top. Just the 90-degree fittings up there with a T-connector directly on top of that. And that's actually being used in a really creative way because he just has a short stub in that T-connector, and he's actually running a cable all the way around the whole build, and the hooks for the shade cloth are actually just ran on that cable, which allows them to basically just slide this shade back, which is really cool and really creative. I didn't notice that at first glance until I zoomed in there. That's really awesome. We can see there's a ton of 45-degree connectors, and there's some adjustable 180s. There's some adjustable angle hinges, all kinds of connectors in here to brace this, which is always a good idea. You want to brace things well. And then we can see at the very bottom, he's got some hardware cloth attached to the frame, and that is acting as the fence to keep the dogs out, which is really cool. And then we can see here that he's using some of the 3D printed hinges and the gate latch from Northwoods Engineered that we carry on our website, and you can also find them on his website that I'll link down below. But this is really cool and just an awesome enclosure and a great idea from Brian, so thanks so much for sharing it. Next up is this really cool custom lemonade stand, and this is really cool because Tim said that they needed to throw a shower for somebody, and they needed to make a really custom lemonade stand for drinks, as we can see here, and they didn't know how to do it. So then they found MakerPipe and EMT conduit, and they created it. And here we can see, here's the framework that they put together. A lot of T connectors in here, 45-degree bracing. Actually, those are adjustable angle connectors. You can see 180 there in the middle, used in a couple different ways. And this has just a nice overhang, and it's meant to be just this backdrop where you can see they're just using a standard folding table under there with the lemonade and everything on top. And then they just have this shade over it with a custom shade kind of draped over it with the sign, and it just looks really pretty and a really fantastic solution for custom decorations. A lot of people do custom themes and things for showers and parties, so it's cool that you could use conduit and connectors and make something custom that matches the theme. So that's really awesome. Thanks so much, Tim, for sharing this. Next up is a really big build. This was shared by Denny a couple months ago. This is a trailer that they're using as a stage, and they needed to add a temporary shade over top of it for the people that are performing up there. They want to be covered and protected from the elements, and this is really cool, and of course all made with EMT conduit. We can see this is bolted to the platform. Don't know what kind of flanges they use there. Maybe some kind of like set screw canopy flange, looks like something like that. Then they've got some 1-inch EMT conduit going up to the top. It looks like they're using canopy fittings in a few different places, so I imagine those are what they're using for the base as well. But they've got a mixture of canopy fittings and MakerPipe connectors. We can see some 90s in the corners, T connectors grabbing on. We can see some 180s, some 4-way connectors, a bunch of the standard MakerPipe connectors to make this really awesome shade covering. And they've got this giant shade stretched out over top of it, and it just looks really awesome, really fantastic, and looks like it's working out great to protect the stage and the people underneath. So really cool, Denny. Thanks so much for sharing this. Next up is a modification of a classic build that we see in the community. The beach cart or the kayak cart is something that we see all the time, but this is slightly modified because this is made to be wider for the owner's boat. This was shared by JL, and they have a sailboat, and they wanted to be able to haul that to the beach really easily. So they're using this frame, and they have pool noodles on there to protect the boat from it, but they've kind of taken that classic design and they've made it really wide. They just changed the dimensions, so it's really wide, as we can see here. They've got the classic kickstand attached with the T connector, and they're just using the standard design that we've seen for this time and time again, where it's just a V-shape frame using the 90-degree connector and 45-degree connectors, and then they have a long axle going from one side to the other. And then something really custom on this one is they're using the beach wheels to allow this to roll really easily on sand. and mud and dirt and things like that. So really cool and a really fantastic job. Here's a couple more photos of it in action. We can see some close-ups, and it's just really cool. And I'll link some videos down below that are helpful if you're wanting to make this kind of thing. Probably one of the most common and most popular custom builds that we see from the community are all kinds of carts like this. So it's really awesome, JL. Love seeing your take on this classic build. You did an awesome job. Next up is a really fantastic batting cage that was put together by Ben. This is 35 foot by 10 foot by 10 foot. It's really awesome, and it's pretty much just a giant rectangular cube where it has 90-degree connectors used in the corners to make the cube shape, and then it's got 45-degree connectors in here to add some angled bracing, and then it's pretty much just a large cube, like I said, and then has some netting draped over top of it. And we can see we've got some rules posted there for people that come by and want to use it, which is really cool. But this is a massive frame and just really awesome. They made this out of 3/4 inch EMT conduit. Looks great, and it's in a great spot here, and just a perfect opportunity and place to get some swings in and practice. This is really cool, and a lot of the standard fittings you would use for something like this, like I said, 90-degree connectors in the corners, kind of in the middle there, the top, and actually not the bottom either. So just the middle and the top, just a middle rung, and then top, and then just the verticals going down, and then 45-degree connectors to brace this all throughout the frame, as we can see. And this is really awesome. And then they just found a net they could drape over and secure to the frame, and it's just really cool and an awesome job. So thanks so much for sharing this. We love seeing it. Next up is a sweet disc golf cart that was shared by Carl. This is really fantastic. We love seeing disc golf carts. That's something that people in the community have been building for years. We've seen a few here and there, and it's always awesome to see a custom version. And this one is from Carl, and it's fantastic, really cool. This is version 2. We don't have a picture of version 1. But this is version 2 that has the 4 wheels, has the platform there for his kid to sit on, which we'll see in the next picture. And then we've got the golf bag there, and we've got all kinds of stuff incorporated into this. There's bins. This handle, I think, is made to adjust back and forth using the MakerPipe adjustable angle hinge connector. You can see a ton of T's in there, and just really awesome, really great disc golf cart. And this was version 2, like I said, and then here is version 3 with an upgraded seat for his son, as we can see there. And then we've got some upgraded wheels. These are the Never Flat wheels by Rubbermaid, I think. Those are really awesome. We've used those in the past for a build, and they're really cool. And it's just really, really great disc golf cart, and just really custom and just awesome. I can imagine you using this on the course and it just working out great. So that's really cool. Thanks so much, Carl, for sharing this. We love seeing it. Next up is a really fantastic marching band prop. This was shared by Adam. This is a 10-foot tall book, and it opens and lays back, and you can turn the pages like an actual book, which is really creative and just really fascinating and awesome. If we zoom in here, we can see there's a ton of T connectors, and there's kind of this center design where there's a bunch of T connectors used along with couplings, and I believe they're using that and kind of using the friction of the T to be able to hinge this and rotate this, because if you go down, we can see these wheels at the bottom, and there's a single kind of pole in the middle with a 180-degree connector, and I believe that these are made to hinge around there. Not exactly sure how this works, to be honest with you, but it's really cool. But we can see that the middle cage, or the middle page, kind of goes in either direction, and then we can see that it folds flat in this next photo here. Well, actually here in this one, we can see kind of a wider shot of it, which is really cool. A lot of T connectors in there to make this. But then here we can see it's folded flat, which is really cool. And I can imagine, we don't have a video, but I can imagine, seeing this in the show. It's probably really cool to see this giant book, 10-foot tall, rolled out there, and then the pages open. Really creative. I'd love to know more about how you guys made that. And if you have a video of it in action, that would be really cool to see. Yeah, just really awesome. Adam, thanks so much for sharing this with us. Last but not least is a build from Ron, and he shared a bunch of photos, and we can see his golf simulator start from a box of parts all the way through the entire build. So we'll just go through these pictures here. There's his MakerPipe shipment. Here he's got his conduit laying on the ground. He's got his spot cleared out for the golf simulator. And then here he just goes through the build. So we can see here that he's using the hack, which is the off-the-shelf conduit flange, the off-the-shelf plumbing flange with conduit connectors threaded in there. We have a whole series of videos on doing that solution. I'll link those down below so you can check them out. But then he's essentially got his EMT conduit frame put together, just kind of a cube frame, a very narrow cube using 90-degree connectors. We've talked about those a bunch in this video. And then we can see here that he grabs onto that conduit with the T connector, and then there's a short stub going into the flange solution. He pretty much does that 6 times to secure the golf simulator to the wall, as we can see here. And then he's also added a bunch more supports with T-connectors kind of spread throughout the frame and just grabbing on in different places. So that's really cool. And then we can go to the next one here. We can see he's actually stretched out the impact screen to the frame. Looks like he's using just the standard ball bungees, which are a fantastic solution for this kind of thing. He's got those secured on there, and that's really awesome. And then we can see here he's added pool noodles, which actually accommodate and account for the ball bungees, which is really cool. Here we can see it in place and starting to get things going. He's got the net in place here, secured to the frame, and then here it is with the net extended out the sides. I think the sides are made to fold up using the adjustable angle hinge connector, which is really cool. We've got his grass here that in front of the impact screen that he can tee off and hit into the impact screen, and this is just a really fantastic solution for a garage. And I'm pretty sure this is made to just fold up, and you can kind of put all this stuff back and fold those arms down, move the grass out of the way, and you can still utilize the space whenever you're not practicing golf in there. So that's really cool. This is a really fantastic build from Ron. We love seeing it. Really appreciate you sharing it. And thanks to everybody for posting your builds. As always, these will be linked down below if you want to check any of them out in more detail. Really appreciate you guys sharing your builds. And if you have anything you want us to see and showcase in these episodes, feel free to send it to us or post it in the community. We'd love to see what you guys are making. It's always a blast to do this. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next video.